The last time she was seeing me and my sister friend, she dropped her off at Ed's house. She called me on July 5th from a guy named Eric's phone, and I didn't answer the phone. I didn't get the phone call. And that's all I really know. Like, I don't know nothing else.
That was Jenna Lord's mom on Issues days before her daughter's body was found in a vacant lot in Camden, New Jersey, the area infamous for drugs and violent crime. Jenna's body so badly decomposed, the coroner cannot say how she died, which certainly could impede the investigation. David Schwartz, criminal defense attorney, does this family have some sort of case against the city if they can never determine what happened to this girl or whether somebody killed her because it took so long to find her?
No, I don't think they have a case against the city at all. You can't find that type of negligence to bring a civil lawsuit. No. You know, this police department doesn't have the proper resources. I've dealt with a lot of police departments that have been overwhelmed in urban areas, and the government, the state governments, do not give them the resources to fight crime in these high crime areas. So we're jumping to conclusions as to how they're handling the investigation. They clearly have a public relations problem. There's no doubt about it. It is unconscionable that they don't give the family the proper time that they deserve when they have a child that's missing. The other conclusion that we're jumping to right now is that this is actually a homicide. We, at this moment in time, do not know that this is a homicide yet, until all the autopsy results are in.
Holly, West Virginia.
Hi, Jane. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I have a question. I want to know when they're going to change the laws. We have so many women that come up missing every day. We see on your show. I see here locally. When are they going to do something? This woman is dead, has a child, no mother now. This is ridiculous. We have seen this so many times in the past several years. I've seen you do it. I've seen Nancy do it. This is getting old and ridiculous. Something needs to be done.
Well, it's the war on women. That's why we are waging a battle to have these cases, crimes against women, given higher priority. Now, Jason Nark, people are questioning whether this was a murder or not. To me, I think it has murder written all over it. Do we know exactly in this lot how this woman's body was found? Because, for example, if it was found in a dumpster, okay, chances are she didn't, like, overdose and then jump into a dumpster and die. Chances are she was murdered and put in that dumpster. Jason?
Well, I don't believe there's any evidence that there is a homicide so far. You know, the coroner has said there's no evidence of foul play.
Well, that's what the coroner's saying, but I'm saying where, in this lot, where did they find the body?
Just laying in the grass, the tall weeds.
Ugh.
And the heat, it's been so hot in this area that the heat has sort of accelerated the decomposition. So
well, that's why it should be a top priority if somebody goes missing to find them right away, because obviously if you don't, they can't even do, Don Giordano, they can't even do toxicology tests on her to determine whether or not she was using drugs because of the advanced decomposition of this body.
Yeah, it's small consolation to parents their daughter's dead, but at least if they have answers to what happened here, and at least if they can move forward, and in a chaotic situation like Camden, we all know that the longer you wait with something like this, the harder and harder the odds are of finding who did this, if it is a homicide, are very, very long.
But it seems like there's a lot, Mike Brooks, of clues here. There's the two guys she's seen on surveillance video walking away with. Yep. Why don't we have that videotape so that if we could put it on TV and somebody might say, oh, I know that guy, that's whatever, Joe.
You know, I wish we could. I wish we had it here on Issues, Jane, but we don't. But there is a possibility. I've not given up hope that there's a possibility of finding out what the possible cause of death is. They said the decomposition was so bad, but there's other tests that they possibly could do, maybe with bone marrow, those kind of things, that could determine whether or not there was any kind of toxins in her body. So there's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could take some time before they got those results back. But I'm not giving up yet. But again, there are no obvious signs of foul play on the body at this time.
Jenna's family says they're convinced she was sober and cleaning up her life. But her criminal history may tell a slightly different story. This week, she was due in court, as you heard Casey mention, on charges of simple assault, aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, robbery, theft, terroristic threats, and receiving stolen property. all allegedly committed this year. And again, she has this history of drug abuse and some minor drug offenses from 2006. Now, Howard Samuels, you're the rehab expert. Does that sound like a sober person to you?
Absolutely not, Jane. I mean, you know, sober people don't engage in that kind of behavior. People that are really working a 12-step program, that are really in recovery, they don't act out like that. So I really have my doubts whether or not this person was truly sober.
Well, and also there could be a slip. In other words, when you are sober, you're supposed to avoid the places where there is temptation. And she may have been at this Camden train station for a legitimate reason and felt the temptation because that is a known area for drug dealing. Marty, Texas, your question or thought?
Yes, if they have our meeting with two men and a woman on camera, then why don't they show their faces on TV with that they were seen on camera?
Well, this is exactly what I was just saying. Thank you for that. Casey Jordan, if the authorities want to break this case, they're saying, well, no sign of foul play. Well, why don't we find out who these people are that she was last seen walking away from with and talk to them? And what better way than to put it up on television? Why aren't they giving us these images?
I don't think there's any good reason why they aren't. And it really doesn't help the Camden police to not share that, considering the criticism they're under these days. You're absolutely right. She did have a difficult past. She has a history of drug use and abuse. The circumstances look a little hinky. Maybe it was a drug deal, stolen goods, that sort of thing. But Jane, never forget, you're right. Women who have these sort of histories are often discounted their value in the criminal justice system, and the Camden police did not really respond positively.
Maybe the police know who it is. Maybe they know who it is.
We hope so. Breaking news in the Chiron story.